So get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because there's always something that's going to be uncomfortable. But success is just right after that. Just right after that zone. So when I'm going to take the next one. So when I first got started, I went into a lot of debt, right? It was like $50,000 of debt, and I was trying ads, I was doing things, I was failing very successfully, failing. I was trying ads, things weren't working, I was getting frustrated. It's like, why isn't this working? I can't figure it out. Back then, I actually didn't have any mentorship at that time, which, was really stupid. I wasted so much money. But, I got overwhelmed. There were things that I was doing that just wasn't working. So I guess for you guys, my question would be like, think back to a time when you were in a situation where, you're frustrated, you're stuck, you're overwhelmed. How do you feel that the mentorship that you've gotten has kind of helped you through that time, and then, how life is after that?
Sure, absolutely. The biggest struggle that I faced with marketing was really driving traffic in the beginning. It was a really frustrating time for me because it was completely new. I never knew anything about it before that, this business and all that good stuff, right? So I was just really frustrated. But when I did invest in myself, I got that mentoring, it really did move my business forward. And so it definitely helped me through that time, 100%.
Awesome. So with mentorship, I will say it's hard to see the forest for the trees. And a lot of times, we're super in our business, and it's hard to really see what are the moves that I should make and could make in my business. And so I reached out. I was, so getting into this actual mastermind, of all in and stuff. I like access. Okay, let me tell you guys about this. I like access. Okay, so you pay for access. So I wanted to be able to have a question answered, right, about my business, because it is my goal to have $1 million business. All right. So if you've only done 6 figures, you haven't done $1 million business, then you have to invest in someone who's done $1 million so they can now help you do $1 million. Does that, you guys agree with that? I mean, does that make sense? Right. So mentorship has, helped me. Really what you all see in my business is because of mentorship, right? It's because of Misha, right? I sent him a message. I'm like, look, this is what we want to do, okay? And he was able to guide me, right, and help with a lot of things that, that I actually did to help me go from, 15,000 to 30,000 it was a really quick conversation, but I needed it. I needed it then, and because I paid for access, I got it. So.
Yeah, basically the mentorship, it just takes away all the crap, the stuff, the minutiae that we kind of all get bogged down in our business, and we do really tend to obsess over the little stuff that doesn't really matter at times. And, when you got Misha telling you, what are you messing around with your blog header for? This is what you need to be doing. It's a clear, concise route, from someone who's walked the walk, basically. It's that is really what mentorship does for you. That's why we pay for it. It's to cut the crap. It's to get that fast track to the success that you want to have.
For me, oh wow, the long journey that I have been going through, tons of companies, tons of failures, always something was missing, and I'm like, why can't I put this together? Why is it that it just, I'm seeing people have success and I'm not? When we got that mentorship, I said something in the testimonial video that made a lot of sense to me. I said in the testimonial video, I said, when you get mentorship, now you're going to know what marketing is really all about. See, I thought I knew what marketing was. I didn't. Not until I got the mentorship. Once I got the mentorship, it's like the clouds parted. I'm like, oh my God, yes, finally. That makes sense. And having the mentorship, one-on-one, and like what you said, Keisha, a few conversations that we have are short conversations. One simple tweak here, one simple tweak there. It's like, oh my God, that's it. And this is what helped us catapult even further now. I mean, now we're like almost up to multiple six figures. And, we're right along with Keisha. We want this to be $1 million business. And that's why we pay for this mentorship. We're not in this for the short term. We're in this for the long haul. And that's what mentorship does. This is your future. Invest in it.
Yep.
There was a time where I literally felt like giving up. And it happened when I was a pro, and I looked at my email open rates, and they were like 0. And I reached out to Misha, and I said, Misha, what the hell is going on? Is it my subject lines? Is it my content? What is going on? He says, are you attending the pro calls on a regular like you should? And I said, no, not really. And I had made excuses for myself. He said, okay, if you start showing up and bring me some work, I will critique everything. To me, that was value. That was value in a mentor who knew his stuff. And to me, it was totally worth it. And I said, okay, I'm going to start going to all these pro calls. And all it took was me to keep coming to those pro calls. And I learned a lot from Misha. And I learned my mistakes. And I had to be honest with myself that I really didn't know everything about email marketing. And I had a lot more to learn. And by attending those pro calls and putting that value that he does out there for you, he's essential. You need to be taking advantage of those pro calls, because this mentor over here, he can help you. He can help you get out of the most hardest things that you look at in your emails, all the way to your capture pages, all those technical things that you guys struggle with. You gotta come to those calls. That's where the mentorship is really at. And if you're not pro, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to be there. So success is on the other side of pro. It's all in. That way you can get even more mentorship, more one-on-one coaching. And that's what I did.
Awesome. All right, so really just to make it extremely relevant for everybody in this room, try to take yourself back to where some of the people are here, just beginning and just starting out. And what's one suggestion that you would recommend to everybody in this room if they want to be able to duplicate the result that you've been able to duplicate in your business and really create the success and freedom that you've been able to create in your business coming up this year?
Okay, I guess I'm first. There's a couple of things you need to understand. Number one, it is a complete different business model compared to traditional business. You can't come into this with that mindset. You're no longer an employee anymore. You're a business owner. You're a CEO. You need to start treating this like a business. It will require you to invest in yourself, into your intellectual capital, so you can learn all the skills that you need to learn. Model after success, because that's how you connect the dots. And make sure that you're remaining consistent with everything that is taught. And just like Rich did earlier by telling you about learn, do, teach, stick to those principles, and that will take you further. And get yourself out of your own way and stop worried about what other people think of you. The decision is yours. Nobody dictates your future. You do.
Cool. I would say that, man, when it comes to thinking back, being in your shoes right now, I do remember that feeling of being scared, number one. 2, I do remember not wanting to invest in myself, but I wanted the success, right? I wanted to have what these guys wanted, that they had on stage. I'm like, why can't I have that? If I could say one thing, I wish I've done in the beginning is position. That's the number one word I could say. Because if I position from the very beginning, I probably wouldn't have to go back to work the first time around, right? That's the reality.